From tornadoes to volcanoes, chimps, caves, a life of travel and adventure, showcasing Earth's amazing places and the power of nature as the heart of a new book. Is at the heart of a new book from Minnesota's own giant screen filmmaker, Mike Day. Mike Day's memoir is called The World Has a Big Backyard, and it certainly does, and it's so nice to have you here. We met years and years and years ago when you were leaving and traveling all over the world, making these great IMAX films. And a lot of people don't know that they were produced right out of St. Paul.
Yeah,
how wonderful.
We produced more than a dozen films for the Science Museum's Omni Theater. And I think for anybody that loves seeing a film at the Omni Theater, I can guarantee they're going to love the book, because all those stories of travel from the tallest sand dunes in Namibia to Jane Goodall's research site in Tanzania, I've got all those stories from my life career of working, traveling, and now they're here in the book.
Oh, it's so wonderful. So we have pictures of you all over the world. When did you get the itch to start traveling? How old were you when you started traveling a lot?
You know, I have sent a copy of the book to my high school on the south side of Chicago and give credit to my high school geography teacher. It was really the first time I sat there in class and realized, you know, the world has a big backyard, and I think I'd like to get out there and see it. And so I was fortunate enough to have this career at the Science Museum that has taken me all over the world.
All over the world. And you've been able to capture things in such a way that just enthrall people. They never saw it that way. You know, like in the jungles with Jane Goodall and the chimpanzees, and then all the others. Talk a little bit about some of those adventures and places that you're able to go.
I've tried to do that in the book as well. I mean, I think people are going to find some of the stories fun, but they're also going to find them interesting, and they're going to find them educational. And I've also tried to do what we were doing in our Omni Theater films. I really want this book to be inspirational as well, because I truly believe that the best gift that you can give, especially to young people, is travel. And I'm encouraging people to think a little bit beyond the amusement park or the beach and look for some travel destinations that are going to really energize people, open their eyes, extend their understanding of not only the world but themselves. And so hopefully that all comes out in the book as well.
And you really do believe that that's what travel does. I was kind of thinking about that. It is kind of an interesting reset for yourself whenever you go anywhere, it seems like. And then you kind of start thinking about, what am I doing and what should I be doing and how do I get better at whatever I want and what my passions are.
Yeah,
you know?
and I've given some tips in the book to help you with, travel isn't easy. It can be very challenging. There's all sorts of unknowns. It can create all sorts of anxiety. And I've learned through my worldwide travels just some tips and tricks to help deal with those things. But for example, getting lost. Well, you shouldn't feel bad about getting lost, because often during the course of your travel, the best experiences are the ones that you haven't planned for. And that's what really opens your eyes and energizes your senses.
I love that. Let's talk about the ancient caves. I know that's something you're really, have a lot of interest in.
Yeah, that was the last film that I produced for the Science Museum. We premiered that film in St. Paul just before the pandemic hit, but it's a perfect example of the kind of story that works best for the Omni Theater. Because, of course, the Omni Theater, you don't just watch a film, you're literally sitting inside the film. So taking people into caves, including underwater caves, was just a great experience in the Omni Theater, but also it was a great science story, because we feature a paleoclimatologist goes into caves, brings out geologic samples, and from analysis of those things, they're painting the picture of how the climate has been over the last 500,000 years.
So unique. So even if you are claustrophobic, this one will bring you there. And that's what the Omni films do. They bring you to these places and you feel like you're right there with you. That must have been such a thrilling career.
Yeah, and it was interesting because I'd come back from film shoots and be telling people stories, and I always heard people say, you know what you should do? You should write a book. So when I retired, the pandemic hit. I was socially isolated. What was I going to do?
Yeah.
I wrote the book.
It was perfect timing for you.
It really was.
And it's a great book to bring on travel because it's nice and small and, get it on the plane, right?
There you go.
All right, Mike, thank you for coming in and sharing this with us. We do appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yes, you can find Mike's book on Amazon and on his website, and we have a link on KARE11.com. And head over to the Science Museum because, of course, the Omni Theater is so fantastic.